Okay, in the problem that we are seeing now, we have been given two what the signals or the sequences we can call them. Fine, x of n is one sequence and h of n is another sequence that we've got. Fine. Now, both the see the range of these two signals, everybody. See the range. What's happening to the range here? The range is what? 0 to n minus 4 here. Everybody understand? See the range, you should understand. It says it is 0 to n minus 4, which means that it is ranging from where to where? It is ranging from 0 to 4. Okay, and this x of n is 1 from 0 to 4 is what we understand. And next we have another signal alpha per n, okay, and that alpha per n is ranging from 0 to 6. Both are finite length signals. Understand that? We have to draw these signals first. Instead of taking these equations, let's draw these signals as this. See that, everybody? See here, this is your x of n. So this is what we have drawn x of n as, which is 1 from 0 to 4, right? And we have drawn the second signal h of n, which is alpha per n from 0 to 6 here. From 0 to 6, it is alpha per n, and this is 1 from 0 to 4. That is what is that we have to understand. So we have taken the signals here. Now let's write the equation for convolution sum. Okay. Then in the equation for convolution sum, we are going to have x of k and h of n minus k. Everybody understand that point? So let's see how it works out. Fine, everybody should understand. This is actually h of n. Get that point? This is our h of n. Fine. Now we have for the first time sketched the signals given, because the signal is given in this form. So if any finite length signals are given like this, you can draw these signals like this, sequences like this. Understand? So this problem can even be done in this fashion. See here, when both are finite length sequences, what did we do? Remember, see here, this is what I mean. Where it starts, where it ends, we were doing, right? So this also can be done. In this method also we can solve that. But there'll be too many samples to handle. Understand that? That's why what we are doing is this. We just sketch them as signals, then we deal with it. Understand? Now let's see how to deal with them. So they are asking us to obtain the convolution sum of these two signals. So we have sketched that and we are seeing how they look like. Fine. Understand, this is only for your reference, mind you. So what I have shown here is only for your reference. Okay. With respect to n, we have sketched this, mind you. With respect to n, we have sketched this. Fine. Now these signals need to be brought into this particular equation. So if this is x of k and h of n minus k, fine. So I'll write x of k and this will be our stationary signal, and I'll write h of n minus k. How to sketch h of n minus k is challenging when x-axis is k. So let's do that. Fine. Now everybody see here, x of k means It is just replacing, what is that? It is just replacing this particular, just a minute, just what's happening. So after having sketched x of n and h of n, now let's understand how to sketch x of k. X of k is this only, just be replaced n by k. Fine. But getting h of n minus k is challenging. Fine. So let's do that here first. Fine. X of k is what? Let me write that here. X of k is just this. Just replacing, fine, x by n by k would give you x of k. See here, this is x of k, which ranges from 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is your x of k. So compare this x of n with x of k. There is no difference at all. Only difference is n has become k. That is this, the stationary signal. Now, once we have got x of k, how to get h of n minus k given h of n is the question. Fine. So for that, since it is what? With respect to k, let's first get h of minus k. What is h of minus k? If this is h of k, if this is h of k, okay, which is how we can plot h of n, h of minus k. So you have to just reflect this. If you reflect that, what we would get? Everybody see here. This is 1. And why did we plot it like this? See, alpha is greater than 1. When alpha is greater than 1, here it is growing exponential. At 0, it is always 1, and from there on it increases. Fine. So when we take the reflection of such a signal, at 0 it is 1, and from there on it will keep increasing like this. Fine. So till what point it should go? 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Okay. 5 and 6 also we should get. Let's not bother about their values. Let's understand that, okay, this is how the pattern would be. So this being 1, at 0 it is being 1. Now this is h of minus k, means can any h of minus k is going from minus 6 to 0. So if this is h of minus k, with whatever we have learned so far, can you give me what is h of n minus k? Anybody? I've given you h of minus k. Can you give me h of n minus k range? X of k goes from what? 0 to 4. H of minus k goes from minus 6 to 0. Okay. H of n minus k goes from where to where now? Give me the range.
Minus 6 to n.
Minus 6 to n. No. To n, the upper limit is n is understood, but it is not minus 6. Can you see it little carefully? If you're pushing, everybody, this is not infinity, understand. If this is minus infinity, this would be minus infinity only, and this would change. But this is not minus infinity, this is minus 6. So that means if this gets shifted to n, you're adding n to this. So that means this also gets shifted towards right by n positions, right? So where should this come and stand? If this would become n, this would become n minus 6, mind you. Everybody understand that? So when I shift this to the right by n position, okay, the 0th sample would come and stand at n. I don't know what n is, don't bother what n is. Okay, so this is how I do it. I need 7 samples totally, that's it. Find how many samples I got. This is n. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if 7 samples we need totally. Fine. So let me not give the names to this intermediate stuff. So this is n minus 6, or we can say minus 6 minus n. Since 0 stands at n now, so this is minus 6 plus n, or we can say it is n minus 6. Everybody understand? This is n minus 6. So h of n minus k goes from n minus 6 to n when this x-axis is k. Is that okay with you, everybody? X of k is written. This is x of n. This is x of k. H of n is given. So h of n means I know this is h of k as good as h of k. H of k also looks like this only with these n's replaced by k. So if this is h of k with respect to k, okay, what would be h of minus k? H of minus k would be reflection of this that we have written here. Okay, then h of n minus k is shifting h of minus k to the right by n positions. That means this will come and stand at n. So that means we are adding n to this 0. So that means to this minus 6 also we need to add n. That is why it becomes minus 6 plus n. Okay, if this becomes n, this is minus 6 plus n. Instead of saying minus 6 plus n, let's say it's n minus 6. Understand? So these two signals we need to consider now. Everybody understand? So this is one signal we need to consider, and this is the other signal we need to consider. Fine. So let's have x of k and h of n minus k one below the other. Everybody get that point? Okay, this is h of k. So I'll take that here. Fine. Below that, I'll have h of n minus k. This is h of n minus k. I'll just shift that over here. Is that okay with you? So these two signals you need to have with you to solve the convolution sum problem. Fine. So this is h of n minus k. This is h of k. So these two signals we have taken, x of k and h of n minus k, we have taken directly by sketching them. We have not substituted anything, mind you. Fine. Now, what is this h of n minus k? This is what? Alpha power k? Yeah. This is alpha power k, mind you. And this is 1. Fine. This is 1 from where? 0 to 3. And this is alpha power k from what? N minus 6 to n. K equal to, mind you. From k equal to. Now, let's go with case number 1. Case number 1. Can you tell me when would there be a no overlapping case? Case 1, no overlapping case. Can you tell me now? When will there be a no overlap case? Let me just write that. See here, I'm writing no overlap case. So no overlap case means, see, the signal which is stationary is already there. Fine. So, and it's, see, they are not the same length. Here we have got 7 samples. Here we have got just what? 5 samples. Fine. So let us be aware of the length of the signal also. X of k needs to be of smaller length, mind you. And this h of n minus k is this. Now see here, this is n, this is 0. So when n is less than 0, no signals are overlapping. Everybody understand that? So when n is less than 0, okay, no overlapping, no overlapping. So this implies that our y of n would be 0 for n less than 0. Is this okay with you? This is case number 1. Now let's see case number 2. Very important. Okay, let's understand this. Very challenging also at the same time. When n equal to 0 we obtained. Let's see case 2. When, see here, everybody, I'll just bring this signal, this n I'll make greater than or equal to 0. Fine. And I'll write that signal also. Okay, to understand this, let's do this exercise. It's better we do this exercise. See here, this is your stationary signal. Fine. So which ranges from 0 to 4. Understand? Now we have another signal, okay, which is this. Fine. It goes from what? N minus 6 to n. Everybody understand how we have done that? So this is moving signal, this is stationary signal, and this n I am bringing in between this signal. This n is less than 4, and this n is greater than or equal to 4. Everybody understand that point? So what I can write here? So what all cases I can consider? See here, I can say when n is less than 4, I can say when n is greater than or equal to 0, I can say, or even I can say when n minus 6 is less than 0. Everybody understand that? So what all cases? Which case is this? When n comes and stands, so which case is that? When n is greater than or equal to 0, there is overlap. So that means n is also less than 4. Or in other words, we can say this n minus 6 will always be less than 0 when this n is greater than or equal to 0 and less than 4. So see, let's see how this happens to be. So see here, we have this n being greater than or equal to 0 and less than 4. This is one thing. And we can have n being greater than 0 and see this is n less than 6, it says. Okay, less than 6. So you have two ranges. Which is the shorter range? Which is the shorter range? Can you make out? From 0 to 4 is the shorter range, or from 0 to 6 is the shorter range. 0 to 4 is the shorter range. Okay, so always go with shorter range. So this is what you will go with, and this you will ignore. So that means you're not considering this. You'll just consider these two for deciding. Okay. The case number 2. In case number 2, we are considering n being in between 0 and 4. N being in between 0 and 4 means n can take value 0 also. N greater than or equal to 0 or less than 4. It should not be greater than 4. That case we shall see next. Okay, when n is greater than 0 or less than 4, we all know that n minus 6 is less than 0. So let's write that also, as we have seen here. So if you consider these two, it is 0 to 4. If you consider these two, it is 0 to 6. So let's not consider 0 to 6 because we need to always go with analysis in shorter ranges. Understand that? So when n is greater than or equal to 0 and less than 4, so this is what we are going with. When n is greater than or equal to and less than 4, okay, overlapping is there. Can you tell me the overlapping range now? Overlapping range is What is the overlapping range? K equal to, see here, overlapping is range is going to be this till this point, from here to here. So from 0 to n, it is overlapping. Everybody understand that point? So the overlapping range is from 0 to n. So if we call this as equation number 1, everybody understand? If I call this as equation number 1, okay, how equation number 1 would change is what we need to look at. Fine. How can I write this? X of k is 1, okay, and h of n minus k is alpha to the power n minus k. Understand that? What is h of n is this, okay? What is h of n minus k? It is h of n minus, this is it. H of n minus k is this. And what is h of n minus k? It is alpha to the power n minus k. So this is n minus k, not alpha power n. This is alpha to the power n minus k. Everybody understand that point? Okay, so let's write that now. Equation number 1 can also be written in descriptive form, more detailed form. What is that here? This can be written as summation k ranging from minus infinity to infinity. Okay, so this is u of n or u of k minus u of k minus 4 or 3 rather. That's why I didn't want to write this. This will be a little confusing. This will be 5 rather. Can you tell me the range of this? That is this. This signal is this. U of k minus u of k minus 5. This is the signal. Into what is h of n minus k? H of n minus k is alpha power n minus k. Understand? And this would again be 1. Alpha power n minus k into 1. Alpha power n minus k from where to where? We need to write that. Okay, from where to where it is alpha power n minus k? It is alpha power n minus k from n minus 6 to n. So writing this would be a problem. That's why I wanted to avoid this. Okay, so you should understand this is alpha power n minus k from n minus 6 to n. This is 1 from 0 to 4. So let's avoid this. And always when we write the equation, okay, so this equation number 1 we shall say, but what is the value of x of k and h of n minus k can be understood by seeing this. X of k is 1 and h of n minus k is alpha power n minus k. Why it is alpha power n minus k? See here, this is alpha power n when x-axis is n. But when this comes into this equation number 1, this would become alpha power n minus k because wherever n is there, that is being replaced by n minus k. So this is alpha power n minus k. Understand? So equation number 1 would imply that, okay, y of n would be equal to summation and range is k ranging from overlapping range 0 to n alpha power n minus k. Okay, so this is also 1 and this is also 1. The two things are there, right? So this is multiplied by, fine. So this is 1, right? So in that range, see here, in this range, what is happening? So the blue signal is alpha power n minus k. The red signal is 1. Understand? So here itself you can say, seeing this itself you can say, in this overlapping range, it is alpha power n minus k and another signal is 1. Fine. So that's why this equation number 1 becomes this. Now this can be split into two parts. What is there? Alpha minus k is there, right? So that can be split into two parts. What is it? This is 0 to n alpha power n, okay? 1 by alpha to the power k. Why it is 1 by alpha to the power k? Because alpha to the power minus k is what we can write here. So instead of writing alpha to the power minus k, we're writing 1 by alpha to the power k. So now among these two parameters, which parameter has got nothing to do within the summation? So this is k ranging from 0 to n, right? So alpha power n has got nothing to do because k will get the values assigned, n will not get values assigned. So let's keep this alpha power n outside the summation because within the summation it has got no job to do. So this is it. And I have told you this alpha is what? Alpha is equal to 1. Alpha is greater than 1, they are saying. Okay, they are saying alpha is greater than 1. When alpha is greater than 1, 1 by alpha would be less than 1. So we are dealing with a equation where 1 by alpha is less than 1. And what we know? We know that summation k ranging from 0 to n, a power n is equal to 1 minus a power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus a when e is not equal to 1. So 1 by alpha is not equal to 1. It is less than 1. Understand that? So therefore, we have y of n equal to alpha power n. Okay. And here you can write 1 minus a power n plus 1. Sorry, it's not a. What is it? Yeah, 1 minus 1 by alpha because a is 1 by alpha, right? So 1 by alpha to the power, what k is there? So that will become n plus 1 divided by 1 minus 1 by alpha. So this is what you can do. We can leave it here or you can go and change this. And you can go and simplify this rather. You can go with simplification of this or you can just leave it over there, not a problem. Fine. See the next case now. From where to where this is y of n like this? This is from 0 to 4. Everybody understand that? So this is from 0 to 4. So this is this for n greater than or equal to 0 and for less than 4. Fine. So this is one case. This is one case. Fine. Now let's go to case 2. The first case is no overlapping case. The second case is overlapping case wherein this signal moves, okay, and this n comes and stands in between this signal. That means n can take a value greater than or equal to 0 or less than 4. Now what I'll do, now I'll take this particular case. See what I do now. Case 3, everybody. Case 3. Before writing what it is, let's sketch. It would be an interesting sketch. See here? You have this signal, which is this, and it goes from 0 to 4. Fine. You have a wider signal. Understand? You have a wider signal, okay? And the wider signal goes like this. From where to where we are going now? From n minus 6 to n. Understand that? Now, what all cases we will come across? Everybody just see here. This is the figure I'm saying. The first case was this. The first case was this. No overlapping. That means n is less than 0. Straightforward. No overlapping, so it is 0. In the next case, this signal moves, but n stops in between 0 and 4. N can be greater than or equal to 0 or less than 4, or even n minus 6 is less than 0, we can write. So that we have written. But when it is n minus 6 less than 0, we go from 0 to 6. And if we take n is less than 4, we get 0 to 4. So always we should go for the shorter range, ignoring the larger range. So we shall do the same exercise here. What all possibilities there? One thing that we can say is what? N minus 6 less than 0. Fine. So here we have stopped at 3. Everyone understand? Here we have stopped at 3. Or we can even take this as less than 4, less than or equal to 4. When it is less than or equal to 4 also, yeah, this n can stop here or this n can go and stop here. N minus 6 would always be less than 0 only. So now if we take this as n ranging from 0 to 4, okay, here it should range from 5 onwards. So one thing we can say is n minus 6 is less than 0. Or another thing that we can see is n is greater than 4. So this says n is less than 6, and this says it is n is less than 4, or n is greater than 4. And this can be greater than, less than or equal to 6. This can, when n is greater than 4, this n minus 6 can come to 0, or it can be less than 0. Fine, because this is wider signal. This the blue signal that I have sketched here is a wider signal. The red signal is a narrower signal comparatively. Understand? So what is the range now? Case 2 is when n is greater than 4, less than or equal to 6. How do we say it has to be greater than 4? Because equal to 4 is already considered here in the previous case. So we need to consider greater than 4. If it is not considered equal to here, so you need to say when n is greater than or equal to 4. So if you don't consider that value here, you have to consider that value in this case. Understand? So this is what we're going with the third. Now can you tell me the overlapping range in this particular form, in this particular case? So this is the overlapping range. This is the overlapping range. From where to where the overlapping is, can you make out now? The overlapping is there from 0 to 4. Isn't it? The overlapping is there from 0 to 4. Let's see how the thing looks like. Therefore, now what is this blue signal? It is going from n minus 6 to 4n. So this blue signal is alpha to the power n minus k, and this red signal is what? 1. It's 1. Fine. So therefore, equation number 1 looks like this. And we have to say the overlapping range, right? We have to say overlapping. Without writing overlapping range, we should not go. Fine. So this is 1. Red signal is 1. Okay. Now there is overlapping. Overlapping ranges. What is the overlapping range? It is k ranging from 0 to 4. Fine. Now, therefore, how the equation number 1 looks like? Therefore, equation number 1 looks like this. Y of n is equal to summation, and the overlapping range is from k ranging from 0 to 4. Fine. In that overlapping range, which two signals are overlapping? Alpha power n minus k is overlapping, and the signal of amplitude 1 is overlapping, right? So we need to say it is alpha power n minus k into 1. Fine. Yeah. So overlapping range is from 0 to 4. Okay. And when in this overlapping range 0 to 4, the stationary signal is 1 and the moving signal is alpha power n minus k. Fine. So that is what we have written here. Now we need to deal with this particular summation. Fine. Again, as we did in the previous case, if we split this alpha, okay, we'll have two parts. One is alpha power n, another one is 1 by alpha to the power k, because it is alpha power minus k. So I'll write it this way. Fine. So I can take this alpha power n outside, because in the summation only k will take the values ranging from 0 to 4. So I'll only have 1 by alpha to the power k within the summation. Fine. Now 1 by alpha is less than 1 here. 1 by alpha is less than 1. It is not equal to 1. That means what would happen? Okay. So again and again, I'll not write that standard equation. Now this will become, anybody seeing that standard equation, can you tell me now? What would this become? 1 minus 1 by alpha to the power 5, because it's n plus 1, right? So it is 4. So it is 4 plus 1. Okay. Divided by 1 minus 1 by alpha. So this is what it is going to be for n greater than 4 and less than or equal to 6. Fine. So that is what we have seen here. This is your case number 3. Y of n is this. Fine. So this is your case number 3. Can you write case number 4 yourselves, everybody? Let's see how many of you would be successful in doing that. Case number 4. You have to write just this. You have to write just this. See, to begin with, this was the case when n is less than 0, and this is n minus 6. This is n minus 6. This is 0 to 4. This is the first case when there was no overlapping. Second case, there was overlapping. But how the overlapping was, this was how the overlapping was. Now this moved further. This moving signal, this blue signal moved further and became like this. And this blue signal will continue to move. Okay. So when that blue signal continues to move, we will have case number 4 as this. Case number 4. Let me write that for you. So this is your stationary signal which goes from 0 to 4. Fine. And this is your moving signal. And this moving signal is this now. So this is the case. So this is n minus 6 and this is n. Fine. So in the overlapping range, wherever this blue signal is alpha power n minus k and the red signal is 1. Fine. Now in this case number 4, what is the case? This is for what? Case number 4. This is for n minus 6 greater than or equal to 4, or sorry, n minus 6 less than or equal to 4. See here, n minus 6 less than or equal to 4. Fine. Less than or equal to 4. Or we can say n minus 6 greater than 0. This n minus 6 greater than 0 also we can say, or n minus 6 greater than or equal to 4 also we can say. And what is this n doing here? This n is greater than 4. So among this, what would this look like? This would look like now n less than or equal to 10. So this is n greater than 6. So this is n greater than 4. So here we'll have two ranges. One is n greater than 6 less than or equal to 10, or n greater than 4 less than or equal to 10. So which range you will consider? Which range you will consider? See, if you consider these two, this and this will come. If you consider this and this will come. So among the two, which range you will consider? I've told you we have to consider shorter range. From where to where we already have come? From 4 to 6 we have come. Let me just show you that. For less than 0, it is this. It is 0 for less than 0. From 0 to 4, it is this. From 5 to 6, it is this. From 5 to 6, it is this. Now from 6 to 10, we should take. Okay, so from 6 to 10 is what we should take now. Okay, so let's not go with this. We have to see the steps. Okay, so for when n is greater than 6, less than or equal to 10 is what we are seeing. Okay, in this, can you tell me the overlapping range? Anybody? What is the overlapping range in this? Overlapping range is this. Here is where overlapping is. From n minus 6 to 4. So overlapping range is k equal to n minus 6 to 4. Understand that? So the overlapping range you just see. It is n minus 6 to 4 we are going. Understand it? So equation number 1 becomes what? Therefore, equation number 1 becomes y of n. Okay, and here in the summation, k would be ranging from n minus 6 to 4. And in that range, we have a signal whose amplitude is 1, and we have a signal whose amplitude is alpha power n minus k. So it is alpha power n minus k into 1. Fine. As we have been doing for all the other cases, let's take alpha power n out and let's interchange the limits of summation from 4 to n minus 6. Okay, and this is 1 by alpha to the power k. Now I need to see this starting at 0, not at 4. What we can do? I need to see this lower limit start at 0, not at 4. So that means you will drag it to the left by 4, drag it to the left by 4, right? If it has to start from 0, okay, this summation, instead of starting at 4, if it has to start at 0 means this signal I will drag back to 4, back to 0 rather. Fine. So doing that is as good as doing this. Everybody just see here. Very carefully just see here. So I'm doing this. I'll do k minus 4 equal to 4 minus 4. And here it is n minus 6 minus 4. Everybody understand what I did here? Why did I do this? Because I want my lower limit to be starting at 0. Fine. So how does it look like? Alpha power n summation k minus 4 k minus 4 0 to, now this would become what? This upper limit would become n minus 10, 1 by alpha to the power k. This is how it looks like. Now let me change this k minus 4 to m. Fine. So substituting k minus 4 equal to m implies that k is m plus 4. Fine. So therefore, our y of n would look like alpha par n summation m ranging from 0 to n minus 10. Fine. 1 by alpha to the power m plus 4. Because k is m plus 4. If this k minus 4 is m, okay, this k would be m plus 4. Fine. Now this would look like alpha power n divided by alpha to the power 4, because this alpha to the power 1 by alpha to the power 4 is taken out. So m goes from 0 to n minus 10. So it is 1 by alpha to the power m. Understand? So outside the summation, what you have would become alpha to the power n minus 4. And this is 1 minus 1 by alpha to the power n minus 9, because it is n minus 10 plus 1. It would become n minus 9 divided by 1 minus 1 by alpha. So this is what is your y of n. Okay, this is what is your y of n starting from for n. What is the last range that we consider? It is from 6 to 10 or 7 to 10. 5 to 6 is already taken, so it goes from 7 to 10. So that is greater than 6, less than or equal to 10. So this is what is the case number what 4 is. Now let's write the last case. Last case is again no overlapping case. I'll just show you what it is. So this is what it is. Fine. What is the last case? Case number 5. Let me show that. Case 5. Case 5 is this. You have the stationary signal. Let me do that in red. Yeah. This is stationary signal going from 0 to 4. Okay. Now this is moving signal which has already moved out of the range. Understand? This is n minus 6. This is what? N minus 6 to n is what this is. So this is n. So this is again no overlapping case. What is the first case that you saw? That is also no overlapping case, but there n was less than 0. Now this signal has moved and has come out of this range. So this n minus 6 is here now. Understand? So that is what is being shown in the last case. Right? So here it is n minus 6 greater than 4 or n greater than 10. In the previous case, we have got, see here, till 10 we have got, right? 6 to 10 we have got. So from 10 onwards, from 11, 12 up to infinity, what is going to happen? No overlapping. No overlapping. Therefore, y of n would be what? 0 for n greater than 10. So this is what one should understand. And we have to summarize this. If you see the summary, you will understand what is that we've done so far. Okay, so let's see the summary. The summary itself takes a lot of space. Y of n is 0 for n less than 0. Fine. Then let's go on copying this. then this for 0 to n minus 4. All this we need to copy. Okay, so what it would look like, we need to write. This is your second case, right? So you need to just copy it down here. So this is what is your y of n. Fine. For n ranging from 0 to 4. So likewise, we have what all ranges from 4 to 6 we have. For n greater than 4, less than or equal to 6 we have. For n greater than 6, less than or equal to 10 we have. Then again we will have 0 for n what greater than 10. So these many cases, totally 5 cases we have obtained. Fine. First case, no overlapping case. Then in between we have 3 cases where overlapping is happening, and the last case is again no overlapping case. Get this point? So just have to fill these dotted lines. That's it. Just copy it over there and fill it over. Understand this? Now we shall see the convolution integral. Whatever we have seen as convolution sum for discrete time signals, okay, the same if we do for what continuous time signals, it would be called as convolution integral. So what we are seeing is this: the representation for, everybody take down, representation for continuous time LTI systems in terms of impulse response. The representation of continuous time LTI system in terms of impulse response. Okay, so how shall we move here? Now we know that, everybody say, we know that the discrete time sequence x of n, discrete time sequence x of n is given by x of n equal to summation k ranging from minus infinity to infinity x of k delta of n minus k. Right? So this is how we express x of n. Understand? So this is in discrete time. Therefore, continuous time signal can be expressed as, here, wherever n is there, that needs to be replaced by t, and wherever summation is there, let's replace that by integral. And k here, let's take as tau ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, x of tau into delta of tau minus t d tau. So with respect to tau, we need to deal with this. Wherever k was there, so that k is replaced by tau now, and summation is replaced by integral, and n is replaced by t. So this is how the convolution integral that we get needs to be written as. Or it's not convolution integral, it is just the expression of x of t. Okay, since x of n can be expressed like this, x of t can be expressed like this is what we are telling you. Understand? Now, this x of t, this particular x of t is being applied to an LTI system. Okay, so this is continuous time LTI system. To this system, we are applying x of t as the signal, and here we'll get y of t, which is response to x of t. Everybody understand this point? Yes. So therefore, what I can write is, therefore, this is an LTI system. Fine. So therefore, output of continuous time LTI system can be given by what? Here, y of t is what we have as the output. So that actually is the response to the input x of t that we have applied to an LTI system. Okay, and what is this continuous time signal? This can be given as this tau ranging from minus infinity to infinity, x of tau, delta of tau minus t d tau. Understand this? Since the system is linear, everybody just make this statement. Since the system is linear, y of n can be written as integral tau ranging from minus infinity to infinity, x of tau into response to delta of t minus tau. It's t minus tau, n minus k, right? This is tau, this is not tau minus t, this is t minus tau. What did I write? See, n minus k is there, right? So this is t minus tau. Sorry, very sorry for that. Wherever n is there, that needs to be replaced as t. Okay, wherever k is there, that needs to be replaced as tau. So this is t minus tau. So this also has to be t minus tau, mind you. N minus k is becoming t minus tau. Okay, so it is response to this t minus tau. What is t minus tau here? T minus tau is impulse function. Okay, so where response to delta of t minus tau is equal to h of t minus tau, where is the impulse response. If delta of t minus tau is the impulse function in continuous time, then response to this delta function or response to this impulse function is impulse response. Response to this impulse function is impulse response. That's it. Impulse response. So this is y of t. This is y of t. Understand? So therefore y of t can be given as what? Integration tau ranging from minus infinity to infinity x of tau h of t minus tau d tau. So this is what it is. Understand that? And this can be written as what? So this can be written as, this can be written as y of t equal to x of t convolution integral h of t, and is called convolution integral of x of t and h of t. Understand that? So this is convolution integral equation. Fine. This is convolution integral. So if it is continuous time, that the star has to be read as convolution integral. If it is discrete time, it has to be read as convolution sum. That's it. Fine. So this is what is the representation of continuous time LTI system in terms of impulse response. Understand that? So LTI system is expressed in terms of the impulse response, now where h of t minus 2 is impulse response and y of t is the output of LTI system. So this is what is the meaning of representation of continuous time LTI system in terms of impulse response. Okay with that? Now similar to your convolution sum, here also in convolution integral also we have properties of convolution integral. What was the first property there? What was the first property in properties of convolution sum? Commutative. Okay, so convolution integral is also commutative. Okay, so that means x of t convolution integral h of t is actually equal to what? H of t convolution integral x of t. Fine. Very similar proof. Fine. Then what we have? Then we have associative property. Second one. Associative. What associative property tells you? It tells you this. If you have convolution integral of x of t and h1 of t, and that being convolved with h2 of t, okay, this actually is equal to this. Any two you can convolve first, okay, and then you can take the remaining signal for convolution integral is the meaning of this. Then we have distributive. Property. Okay. Distributive property. What distributive property tells us? Anybody? Here we have convolution integral as well as the sum of two signals. So it is this x of t convolution integral h1 of t plus h2 of t, okay, is actually given by x of t convolution integral h1 of t, then this being summed with x of t convolution integral of h2 of t. So these three properties were there in what convolution sum also, and here also we have this. Understand? I'm not giving you the proofs of this. This proofs of this is very similar to the proofs that we have seen for convolution sum. Okay, and I'll be giving you the material for that. So seeing that, you can prepare for the proofs of all these properties of convolution integral. Okay.